Welcome to the Cyber Funnel Podcast, brought to you by Amplifyed, where we feature the top minds in cybersecurity.
Welcome to the Cyber Funnel Podcast, where we're lifting up the people behind the brands across the cybersecurity industry. I'm your host, Thorne Compton, and some of my great past chats include amazing people like corporate communications leader and GEO guru Clinton Carr. Check out that talk. It was a fantastic talk about everything GEO. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome growth marketing and revenue optimization expert Nadia Suanzes into the Cyber Funnel. How are you today, Nadia?
I'm good. I'm pretty nervous because we are going to play against France in the semifinals now in about an hour, but I'm excited to be here.
I will take nerves over the semifinal of the World Cup more than nerves over being on this podcast, because this is just going to be fun, and you're gonna be able to be like, yeah, that was a good luck for us when we got into the final. So.
Okay, yeah.
I love it. All right. Before we really get started, of course, this episode is brought to you by Amplified, the SEO and GEO agency for cybersecurity companies. Amplified serves cybersecurity marketing teams by deriving more leads from Google and AI search. We handle all the heavy lifting and know the exact levers to pull to get you more SQLs, and more importantly, we speak the language of cybersecurity. Learn more at amplified.io. That's amplifyed.io. I said SQLs, and that's a fantastic segue into pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. I've got Nadia Suanzes. Are you excited to talk about how to get real conversions?
Yeah, sure. My favorite topic.
It should be everybody's favorite topic. Though I say that as a teaser. We're going to get into that for a second because we got to start off getting to know you a little bit more. And your lightning round first question today is, what was your first concert?
Well, my first concert was actually pretty recent. It was 2024. The band is called Hombres G. There's like a legendary Spanish pop rock band from the 80s. Basically, according to me, a national institution. Like everybody in my generation grew up listening to their songs. So I started late, but big.
Of all of the things too, it's like I love going to see somebody that's like from your childhood that early. I mean, it must have just brought everything back for you.
Oh yeah, especially my teen years.
Some people don't want to remember those. I love that you're just like, no, bring those on. So
Those were fun.
That is fantastic. I love it. Hey, we're going to segue that hard into building trust. I actually think when we're talking about cybersecurity buyers, they're often really naturally skeptical. How do you build trust on a website with content for cybersecurity buyers, like without making them suspicious and like using tricks?
Well, I honestly think that all users are pretty much skeptical now. Like we have all been burned by fake discounts and like two only days left in stock, But I think in cybersecurity yeah, like you're selling to people whose literal job is to not trust things. So anything that smells like a trick, like fake urgency or inflated claims, doesn't just fail, it completely disqualifies you. So I guess that what I see that works in the industry is viable proof, like real case studies with numbers, or third-party reviews, certifications, things that people can actually check, And also ideally, let them see the value themselves, like maybe a free trial or a sandbox.
Yeah.
Like for a skeptical buyer, I would say that trying the product is worth more than any headline you can write, because they're going to do their own research. Like they're going to investigate anyway on Reddit or on review sites. So better if the most honest source they find is your own website, like with all
Absolutely.
documentation or comparison pages.
Completely agree. I couldn't agree more with all that. It's so funny. You mean a an industry where zero trust is a really important thing has a hard time trusting things whenever it comes to it makes total sense that that you have to really be transparent. You have to really like give real data. And if you're not, then you're probably not going to be having your message go home, you know?
Right. And especially from a CRO side, you see that very clearly in the data, like which promises convert and which ones make people bounce.
Yeah. What do you What do you actually see like from your experience there? Is it more of the value proposition things that are going to actually bring things through rather than the maybe a little more vague?
Oh yeah, definitely. Value proposition is the winner. What they are
Absolutely.
going to get with you instead of maybe the fear.
I- yeah, exactly. Like what's the benefit rather than being scared? I love that. And actually it
Mhm.
leads me into obviously there's two types of buyers too. Often there's two different people involved. You've got the technical expert, and then you've got like the manager of the whole situation. How do you design messaging that kind of speaks to both ends?
Um, well, I get this from writing for B2B SaaS. You're always writing for these two people at once. The person that uses the tool every day and the person that signs off on the budget. Um, for example, imagine a project management tool that I'm in
Yeah,
love with. The team member that is evaluating it wants to know, like, is it fast? Does it integrate with my stack? Will it make my day easier? And their manager wants to know, okay, but how many hours does the team actually save? How much does it cost per seat? So in cybersecurity, it's basically the same logic. The security engineer wants to know, does it actually work? Does it fit or stack? And the CISO or whoever holds the budget asks, what risks does this remove and how can I justify this spend? So I would say the how is, let's say you have one landing page. The trick for me would be layering the copy, like one business income headline, like what
hmm
business outcome headline
hmm
at the top. And so the decision maker gets their answer in 5 seconds. And maybe the technical depths, like the integration, the documentation, everything related to the person that is going to really run the tool, one scroll away or one click away, so that each person can find their own path down the page. And if you have more resources, well, you split your content by persona, like especially with lead magnets. Take one pagers or webinars, wink, wink.
hmm Cooking
For
with gas
the
there. I like it.
for the engineer, maybe you would run something like a webinar called "How to Detect Threats" or "How to Detect Movements X in Environments Y." Something that is super hands-on. And for the decision maker, you might have one pager like what a data breach really costs. Something like numbers that they can take straight to the board. So it would be like same funnel but two doors in.
I, I, I have so many thoughts about what you think, and everything you said is so very true. It's I the persona targeting specifically with like specific content is it's so important now more than ever too with the way that people are interacting with the AI. I love that you mentioned like the integration stack because like it feels like that's the specific the golden goose there because everybody wants it cares about that. It's the CISO wants to make sure that it fits in with their integration, so they don't have to spend more money on something that they don't have to buy to like be able to use you. And then same thing with the practitioner. They're just like, I want to make sure that you're actually going to be useful to me, and I don't have to learn something new with that. So I love that thought there. Also, I'm gonna do at some point in this podcast, we're going to have a little like thing that goes, Thorne's going to talk about journalism. But just as a former journalist, that inverted pyramid style of get the really important information out there first. And what's the important information to the CISO? Why is this valuable to you? get that up there early and then start to build your content like kind of down from that. Nadia, you got it. That's fantastic. Um, okay, so we're gonna move on. Big security deals, like they take a long time. And like speaking of that, the buyer journey, obviously, it takes sometimes months, multiple touch bases, multiple touches on your site or like through other things for somebody to find you. What are some of the smaller actions that you do to track along the way on that buyer journey to make sure people are moving down the path that you want them to?
Yeah, completely. Like B2B funnels are much longer than B2C.
So long.
And you can, yeah, you can really optimize for the sale. Yeah, you have to optimize for these small steps that may predict the sale. Like in an e-commerce, the funnel can be 20 minutes. Like as quick as a user see an Instagram ad, lands on a product page and then buys. But in B2B, and especially security, it can be 6, 9, 12 months, with maybe 5 or 6 people involved.
Yeah.
So the only thing that, see, if the only thing that you are measuring is closed deals, you will have to wait an entire year to find out if what you did actually worked. And that's a really slow way to learn anything. So, like you said, maybe break the journey into smaller signals. Like, for example, early on in the funnel, maybe downloading a guide, signing up for a webinar, subscribing to a newsletter. These smaller steps by stage of the funnel, or even in the mid funnel where the first intent signals start showing. Like maybe someone comes back 3 times in a week,
Yeah.
or visits the pricing page, or requests a demo. All of those are like strong intent signals that you can also optimize. And even in the late stages, where you get the really strong ones, like
Mhm.
activating the trial or requesting security documentation. Um, Several people from the same company suddenly visiting your page. Like that means that they are discussing that internally. Um, so I would say that the key is connecting your analytics to your CRM and checking which of those actions are that your actual customers did before buying. Like maybe you find that the number of ebook downloads predict
Mhm.
almost nothing, but um, the number of companies, the number of the visits that companies visited your pricing, for example, twice a week, that number converts 10 times more. So that's what you want to optimize for. And that's also tells you when to alert sales.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why it's so important to like have a handle on your conversions too, like on what you even have coming through as conversions on your site, like what I don't care what you're using, GA4, HubSpot, whatever your
So,
your CRM you're using is
mm,
regularly audit that because like stuff gets out of whack and you got to make sure that the content like so that all right, fine, you had this many demos, you had this many newsletter signups, which I love that the newsletter signup is such an easy CTA that I feel like so many people miss out. It's so soft, but like it gets you in their funnel.
yeah,
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 I
yeah,
love
completely.
it. You know, some companies like they like to like not give away anything. They want to gate everything. And then
Yeah.
some of them, they want to give away the product for free, a little bit, get the free trial. How do you decide? And then obviously, then there's the live demo. There's the actually getting somebody on the call. How do you decide like which of that is better? And do each of them maybe serve a different user?
You mean like which is better, like a free trial or a live demo with a
Yeah, and
salesperson?
I even like giving nothing away, just totally gating everything, because that is another approach, obviously, to that is just like, hey, if you want anything from us, give us your information, and then you can have it.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's really a universal winner here. Like each one is good at a different job. It depends really on how fast your product shows. value or how complex the deal is. Um, like I'm thinking about advantages of free trials, for example. Um, the, the the biggest one would be that it replaces the promises that you are selling to them with proof.
Right.
And for a skeptical buyer that we were talking about earlier, that's gold. They don't have to believe your website. They can see it working themselves. And it also puts the buyer in control. Like there's no sales pressure. They explore at their own pace. There's tons of advantages, but it only works if the product shows its value fast. Like if someone can set it up on their own.
Yeah.
If it takes like 3 weeks and
Yeah.
an engineer to configure, then
What are you
your
even doing?
trial becomes exactly, yeah. It's like a graveyard of abandoned accounts. It doesn't really work for your product.
It's just sitting in the cart. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the demo, for example, it's a win for a product that is complex or if the deal is big. A good salesperson will tell you the story in the right order. It will tailor it to your actual environment, and it can even get up to 5 stakeholders in the same room, like maybe the engineer, the manager, whoever signs the budget. Um, and you learn things also with this demo, with this live demo. You learn things that you wouldn't learn with a free trial because they're talking to you. They tell you their objections, their timeline, and you can tell who actually decides. Um, but of course, the downside is friction. Like book a
Yep.
call with sales. It scares a lot of people away who,
They just don't have time. They think, oh, I don't have time to go on a live demo, though the free trial might
right,
take longer than the demo does. But that's a dirty little secret they don't want to think about, right?
right.
And funny that you mentioned the sales because, like, and you kind of brought it up earlier. A lot of sales messaging, a lot of messaging as a whole that people have, or in cybersecurity, is based around fear. It's this is
Mm.
going to happen to you. What are you going to do about it? Um, does that work? And do you feel like there is another way to go around that, you know?
Well, security professionals live with these threats every single day, and a generic like hackers are coming to you. That feels like marketing to them. They have seen 1,000 of those already, and it can even feel a little condescending, like for them, I guess. Um, Maybe where fear can work is when it's specific and maybe backed by evidence, like a real incident data that happened recently, or if there's something relevant to their industry.
Hmm.
Like if it's big doom, no. But if it's a concrete risk and relevant, maybe, yeah, it could work. But what I've seen convert better is what we were talking about earlier is the confidence framing, like what you gain,
Yes.
the value proposition, right? Um, the visibility that you're going to get control, the time back, like with proof behind it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, instead of maybe amplifying the fear of threats, maybe you can use some kind of reduce the fear by of them choosing you, like with trust signals. Like we have here, or customers reviews, or awards, or industry recognition, case studies with real numbers. Or hey, listen, we have 24/7 support, or you can get your money back or any exit terms if you have them. Um, but this is also like a classic A/B test, by the way, like
Yeah. Huh.
fear
Great A/B
framing
test.
versus outcome framing.
Yeah. I it's a relationship. You're building a relationship, and where do you want to start your
Mm,
relationship? Do you want to start your relationship on fear, or do you want to start your relationship on mutual benefit, you know?
exactly, yeah. And I think that with technical audiences, the outcome frame copy the message, that version tends to win.
Yeah, exactly. What can you do for me? And then let's work
Mhm.
together. And yeah, A/B testing. I love it. It's like you know what I'm going to ask you. We did prep. Oh no. No,
It's what I do.
Yeah,
It's what I do. I have to conduct the conversation to what I do, to what I know.
it's fantastic. We got to prep stuff. And so it feels like A/B testing is really important in all kinds of marketing and probably something that people don't think about on the CRO side of things. Give me your thoughts on A/B testing and figuring out with data what actually works.
Oh, sorry, what do you mean?
So, how do you run tests like with small amounts of data, like on like on the CRO side?
Well, that's a real issue that I have faced several times. Because with an A/B test, what you need is like a minimum sample size to reach statistical confidence, and that number is much bigger than people think. Like, let me give you an example with rough numbers.
Yeah,
Say like your page gets 5,000 visits a month and converts at 2% for whatever conversion it is. If it's a small or big conversion, converts at 2%. If you want to detect a 20% improvement or lift, which is already a big win, you
yeah.
would need somewhere around 80 to 10,000 visitors per variation. It's like a 4-month test for your
Mhm.
current traffic. And if the real uplift that you're going to get is smaller, which normally is, say 10%, now you have like months and months, months and months more. Like realistically, that test never finishes.
Yeah,
So you're not running an experiment at that point. You're just getting a lot of information and you're missing out a lot of good information from the actual page and the actual buyers.
yeah, absolutely.
And you could and you could just go and say, fine, I will run it for a year because whatever, no? Like long test. But when you're running a test for that long, something breaks in their own way. Like people might delete cookies or switch devices. There's a seasonality that comes in. Um, like the visitor that you get in December is not the same one that you get in February. So
Yes.
the longer the test run, the dirtier the data gets. Yes. So I would say that the tempting shortcut here is okay, forget the test. I will just ship and do the change and implement the variation that I want to do. And I will just compare versus before, after. And that might feel reasonable, but it doesn't really hold up because when you change the page, like the world keeps changing as well. Like maybe there was
Yes.
a campaign that you launched. Maybe it's high season, or maybe something happened with your competitor. So if you do like a redesign on your page and you see a huge uplift, was it really the redesign or was it because it was November? You
Right.
just can't tell. You need
Right.
to isolate the variable. And that's exactly why we do A/B tests. Um,
Mhm.
so low traffic, reconducting. um, so with low traffic, you can either maybe I would say try and test big changes
Right.
because like a complete a different value proposition, a complete restructure page, a different offer. Like big changes normally produce big effects that we were talking about earlier, like the expected uplift.
Yeah.
And that's what you need with much smaller samples. Also, you can try to gather more traffic into one test.
You're right.
So instead of maybe testing in one single product page, maybe try and run the same test across every page that shares the same template. Um, like if 10 pages have 500 visits and you have mm, suddenly if you combine all of the pages with the same template, suddenly you have 5,000 visits. And
Yeah.
that gives you a lot more traffic to run your A/B test and get enough sample size. Also, you could just try and test by other metrics in your funnel, like the
Yeah.
micro conversions that we were talking earlier, that you have much more conversion, of much higher conversion. Or something that we have also done in the past, accept maybe directional results.
Yeah.
Like
You have
you
had
will
to
say,
dig on this.
okay, so you say, I will run this test for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And if a variant is ahead at 80 or 80% confidence, I will treat it as a directional evidence. Like I will implement it and keep it monitoring after launch.
Keep it.
You have risks of false positives, but at least you're making a smarter bet than you would have done if you didn't have the data.
It's an educated guess at that point.
It's an educated guess at 85% confidence.
Exactly. You know what? I always love to say, don't let perfection get in the way of progress. Could
That's a
it
good one.
potentially not work? No, and that's why you monitor it. You don't just put it in and just think it's not going to, and think it's done.
Right.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so you got me thinking about seasonality. So we're going to pivot away, and I'm going to ask you another personal question because I'm very curious as a woman from Spain in Madrid, where do you like to go on vacation?
Um, well, I actually enjoy a good staycation, but I love traveling. So as long as there's a balance, I'm happy. Like my latest trips were around the US actually. I did in October a road trip from Minnesota to Wyoming and the mountains. Oh my God, so beautiful. And in March, I've been to Texas and Austin. I was there for the South by Southwest side events, and I met a lot of interesting people. I also wanted to go to the rodeo. I'm not going to lie. I chose March because of the rodeo. And I wanted to also learn to like dance two-step. But well,
As so
didn't
as a
happen,
man
so maybe
from
for the next one.
as a Houstonian who has been to so many rodeos, and actually, funny enough, the best rodeos I ever went to were in Wyoming. Wyoming has a really great rodeo. So fun.
I wanted to, but it
It's
was November. Everything was closed.
Everything's closed because in Wyoming, it's yeah, it was wild as a Houstonian. I lived for Wyoming in a year, and going from very hot to it didn't get over 0 degrees for 2 months that was very different.
Yes, yes, it was cold. It was cold in
It's
November too.
even in
For
November,
me,
right? You're
yeah,
just like, come on,
it was freezing.
that's the United States. We get hot, we get you cold. We're just gonna kill you on both ways. So no, Nadia, this has been fantastic, and I've loved this conversation. Before I have one last question for you, but before I do that, talk to the people, tell them where to find you, and kind of anything you have going on.
Where to find me? Where I'm always in LinkedIn. I don't know. Maybe you can link the link in
We
somewhere,
got you.
but I think they can always find me in LinkedIn.
Fantastic, and look her up. She's fantastic. And my last question for you is, in your experience, what is one of the biggest mistakes cybersecurity teams make when it comes to like conversion rate and like maybe thinking about the wrong thing on conversions?
Well, good question. I would say maybe spending 90% of the budget on getting the traffic and only 5% on converting it. Companies like celebrate the visits and rankings while their funnel leaks everywhere. It's like paying for the water and not fixing the pipes. I would say that would be the biggest mistake that I see in companies making regarding conversion.
Set it in stone because I couldn't agree with you more. It's a great way to finish there, Nadia. Thank you so much coming on. And hey, get the flag out. Let's go Spain. Take France out. Let's go. As I say, I'm weirdly wearing a French looking shirt. Have it as I say on a podcast. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. And thank you so much, Nadia.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Cyber Funnel Podcast. Tune in next time for more tips and insights, and be sure to click subscribe for future episode updates.